a quick introduction. I'm a teacher for more than 26 years now. Then I am a writer. I started writing novels, sci-fi novels for my teen students because I didn't have my own children. And then I should say that number 3 of my priorities is my daughter, which was I don't know, given to me in quite a late stage. So, and it changed my attitude to from teens and some other ages to preschoolers. First of all, we started, of course, not with preschoolers, and then we moved on. As I said before, my daughter is my number 1 priority. Everything else is around her. And since my students always told me that your children would be so lucky because you're an English teacher, they will know language from their birth. So that was kind of noblesse oblige. So I had to seriously think about this opportunity. And now she's almost 5, and my program goes, and my self-education goes on with her. And now we've come to kindergarten age, and I'm going to tell you about this. I'm going to tell you about preschool program we're using and the one we will be using now. So first of all, I'll give you just some general information. If you know something, it's good because maybe you'll share with me because I'm not an expert. I'm learning with her. So, but maybe we'll fill in some gaps together. Let's see. And you will see, of course, our unique representation because every way I've seen something is unique. Let's see. You can read this one. When I read it, I was fully green. You can too. So by the time today's preschool enters the workforce, 65% of the jobs that will be available don't even exist today. So we don't know what the future holds for us. We don't know what is going to happen. We know nothing. Everything can change maybe in next year. Maybe some vital energy will be improved or, I don't know, developed. And so we cannot say that all our kids are going to be programmers or all of our kids are going to work as cashiers at supermarkets, because I think that the most useful job for them I know lots of kids because I work with them, and I have lots of my daughter's friends, and one part of them wants to be tractor drivers. So, and the other part cashier. So I hope it will change. And I even have one girl in my own group who is a little bit older, about 6. And she plays chess, English and Spanish, then gymnastics, anything, singing. And I ask you, who are you going to be? I wish your mom had been in here. She said, I want to do the nails and do the hair. I said, oh, wow. And I thought, is that really possible to be? I don't know. So we'll see. I hope your attitude may change in a while. Okay, so let's see. We don't know. We cannot say anything about our future, but we can try to give vital skills which are universal, which not just come in a second snap of your fingers. Just I want to be an extrovert. I want to know 3 languages and so on. So we're going to look at what I found. So it's not now, everything is changes, and it's not only, and you can see the typo, I just saw it today, sorry. So we cannot just acquire the language as we used to do before, learning, speaking, and so on, reading. Everything changes, and it was not my way to use the way it's already used, so I had to dig further, and that's what I saw. Of course, we need to give the language with its 3 main priorities, which are learning, bonding, and interacting. And of course, we can go like Miglin and say how to do. It's just a tool and a game how to do it. But if you see, it is interacting and bonding and communication. But learning, only the language use here is present, and communication, of course, communicative skills. And so what did I go to? I looked through the most trendiest things which are in America, and that's what I found. PBL, STEM, Gamification, and TRIZ is our own invention. PBL, that's already, you know already what it is. It's project-based learning. Today we had a speech about task-based learning. I was not present, so I'm going to give you a quick comparison what it is. Task-based learning is something you do over one lesson. For example, as Marjorie was that? They were making a tent. They were making a tent out of the materials they had in the classroom. And that was a task-based learning. And PBL is something bigger than that, because it has the first of all, it's an extended period of time, so you don't have one lesson for one project. And it's not a project as we used to do. For example, we have in a student's book, and there is the unit, and then you'll see the project do something, and it is somewhere at the end. Here is the angle is completely changed, because what you do at the end tells the teacher what he's going or she's going to do this whole I don't know, week or month or something. So your project is going to occupy all your time, and everything else just goes into it. And you can see what is the great difference. You will see more later. Real world problems and extended period of time. And it is more engaging because students see the real difference, because they can change the world with their projects. Of course, for my preschool environment, you will see a little bit different. You will see it later. And if you see here, that's just, I don't like to read. You can read it yourself if you like, and then let's go on. So, PBL elements. If you take it part by part, you will see that it is divided into 7. You should have significant content, driving question or challenge, in-depth inquiry, 21st century skills, student voice and choice, critic and revision, public audience, and final product. We're going to talk about all of them, and you will see how we implement them in my own preschool. So let's see. And there is this picture. It's quite engaging. You can look at it. It tells us about the benefits of PBL Mind. You can see when students engage in PBL, what they can become. They learn project management, they grow more empathetic, they become system thinking, and so on. You can see that. So they become, I don't say anything unbashedly different. So they become different and they start thinking differently. Let's go on. So now you can compare project and tasks and project-based learning. We will use this table later to see the difference in our program, because we cannot use, at my age, we cannot use all of them, and you will see how and what we do exactly. So you can see the projects. They are this on the left, and it is quite small. Projects can be done alone versus project-based learning. Let's see. Resources collaboration requires collaborations and teacher guidance. What does it mean? You can understand. So the project, you give it to your child, to your children for home task, and they do it. And here, because all the education is centered in the projects, of course, during the lessons, you do the projects together. So you see what should be done, you talk about that, you split it into parts, you ask what should be required, and so on. Then let's see about the projects. It's about the product. So the children come back from home, and you see the, I don't know, windmills or something. So you did that at home. You don't know if they did it alone or their mothers and fathers helped them. But here, it's not really about the product. It means, of course, but the process is the most important here, because during this process, the children get everything. They get the learning objectives from the teacher, what they should do. They use the language which should be used about the project. They know some material and so on. Then project teacher-directed and project-based learning student-directed, because students identify what kind of information they're going to use, what kind of materials they're going to use, and even how the final product will look like. Then teacher-directed, student-directed, so you can really just read them, because you will see them in more detail later. Let's see. So have the same goal, different goal, submit it to the teacher, present, that we'll see further on. Present to an authentic audience. Then here, look, this one is quite important. Lack real-world relevance, and this one is usually all about. When I was digging into PBL, I saw many videos how it should be done, and there will be one quite good link you will see. You'll watch the video if you want. And it says that children, even not kindergarten, but elementary students, they did the projects that changed their communities, they changed even some parts of the world. And it's really quite amazing what they can do. STEM or STEAM, as already was said, it is a curriculum which integrates 4 subjects, and they all have these science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, and STEAM adds on the art components. So why is this so trendy now? Because according to the US Department, you can see that there are only 16% of high school students that are interested in STEM. You know about the obligatory subjects and which they can choose. So they usually opt to easiest one. So that is why this is very important to have the roots even in kindergartens and preschools. So this one is quite interesting. Now you can see how it looks. Science, you know what science is, what technology, and engineering and art. Can you give me the example of a technology? Even the scissors are tools. The ruler is a tool. Because what are tools? Tools is everything which used to make jobs easier. So if you take something, if you take, I don't know, a rock, yeah, and scratch, I don't know, a glass, or it will be your tool because you wanted to make scratches and you use something else to be a tool. So tools are everything, not only the 21st century devices, which we're so knowledgeable about. So, and art makes learning visible and helps communicate ideas. It is clear, of course. And so that is quite clear. And they all go into one, you see, one top of the pyramid, which is holistic, and everything else goes into it. And the STEM elements, or STEAM elements, have 4 E. You can see excite, explore, extend, and evaluate. When we look at my program in more detail, you will see how they are used. So let's go on. TRIZ. Remember, we have an expert. So you can see what is TRIZ, theories of inventive problem solving. They usually spell it like this, and they spell the Russian version either in illiterate or in even Russian. TRIZ is a very popular, I don't know, not a component, a very popular way to give students knowledge now, and it is now it's getting even pace here in Russian, but for long ago it was only in America and other countries. You will see what it is. So what is TRIZ? Let's see. Universal principles of creativity form the basis of innovation, and TRIZ identifies and codifies these principles. So it means that if you have a problem, you can go and see the world's conceptual problems, your world conceptual solutions to your problem, and then make your own solution. So there are principles which can be codified. And look at these 3 places. Problems, what are TRIZ features? Problems and solutions are repeated across industries and sciences. And it means that somebody somewhere already did it. So if you look at the problems, you will see that there is some connection between them. And that is why we can see the problems. And there are 40 principles of these problems. There is a huge, I don't know, table, what to see and what to look at. We're not going to do it. You just can see that it is quite heavily used, this one. And the leading programs, leading factories and producers can use the TRIZ in educating their adults. So you can see this. Let's go on. Gamification, we have an expert on gamification here, Yelena. So we'll just look at octalysis. Oh, sorry, I forgot to show you, to pay attention at this. Sorry. This one. If you want to know quite lots of things on PBL, you can watch this video. And it's about maybe 19 minutes or 30 minutes, I don't remember. And it gives you a full account on PBL. And you will after watching it, you will see that and you say, yes, I want to use PBL at school because it's really great. Okay, let's go on. So gamification. Yukai Cho, you know, I hope this guy who made the octalysis, and he gives that he says that there are 8 driving courses which lead the people's behavior. Epic meaning, development, empowerment, ownership, social influence, scarcity, unpredictability, and loss and avoidance. We're not going to look at them now because you will see them later in my preschool way. Now, we're coming to the most lively part. Wake up. So let's see. This is what we can see in this table, and I made them in circles and ovals. That's what we in preschool can use. Let's see. We cannot use all of those because it's nearly not possible. But these red ones show you that we can do. We, of course, collaborate, teacher and children collaborate. Then it's not about only the process because the product will matter too. You will see the products. Then it's not only student directed because the children are very little. So I give them the drive and then they go on. You will see the difference. And we go on. So here, the funniest part begins. So let's see our PBL-driven process. You begin a typical PBL, and all of these you already saw, lesson with this. You have an entry event. An entry event is when you present the project they are going to use in some way. It can be a guest speaker, a person who comes and tells children about something. It is, of course, easier done in authentic environments when, for example, an engineer comes and talks about how to make an airplane and so on. And children look at the drawprints, at blueprints, and so on. And what can we do? We start it with a story. We have this Pip, this kitten, his name is Pip, and he's very little, and he's going to have many adventures in his life, and he's very little, he cannot do anything, and children are helping him. They help him grow and learn things. So it comes that helping anyone, they're learning it themselves, of course. Learning by doing. So let's see, excite. Remember STEM excite. So we excite there, we spark their engagement by telling them a story with pictures. They see this Pip, they see what the problem he has, and then they help him. So here, today we're going to talk about a table. It's just an example, what can it be? So we're going to talk about a table. Our driving question is, okay, how can we make a table for Pip? That is our driving question. The children know the system, so they see this question and they start talking about it. So what gamification principle works here? Epic meaning and calling. You're a part of something bigger than yourself, and they are Pip's team. For example, then when they get a task, they do like this, Pip's team, and they know that that is their problem to solve. Pip doesn't have a table, so we're going to make one for him. Let's see. Number 3, then we decide what do we need to know to make a table. That's called an in-depth inquiry, STEM. We're going to STEM explore. Second E, it is explore. You create an environment that encourages students to use their senses to explore, be curious, and ask questions. Let's see. Technology, scissors. We're using this simple technology. Engineering, knowledge of gravity, balance, and problem solving. Math, knowledge of shapes and sizes. So how can we make a table? Gamification, empowerment of creativity and feedback. What does it mean, empowerment of creativity? It means that you have the basic building blocks, and then you can create something out of them. And and then you can have, and you see the result. Here you can see, first of all, how does it connect with the knowledge of English here? making a table, children get to know what table things are. They know about table manners. You can see they set the table for their guests. Then, what about, again, the comprehension here? They write their names, the guests' names on the table. They prepare food and so on. Let's go further. Then, experiments is just off. A little bit off topic. Experiments are the ways we can, it's not about tables, it's just a very good slide, I like it. You can see that we do lots of experiments, and in this STEM environment, children just should get this first feeling of wow. When they see this wow, they remember it well, and they do it, and they always ask for more. Then, let's go on. 4, student voice and choice. It means that students think and see what can use for their tables. You can see we have lots of materials and they know where they lie, where they are. We have big containers with different stuff. And so when they hear this question, how can we make a table? They look around, they stand up, look around, and some of them can say, I will use the blocks and something else. So here you can see that how they use the blocks. They made this table. Sorry. They made this table and we looked at it. We put our peep and it was not good enough because it was little. We said, I said, is that okay? I asked, is that okay for peep to eat? They say, no, it's too small. It's too small. We say, how can we make it bigger? What did we do? We put these blocks in a wider position, put something, and of course, what happened? It fell down. Of course, it fell down. And they said, oh, how can we do it? We started thinking, and then they saw this, you see, the container lid. They saw the container lid and put it forward, you see, and it is now quite big enough. But I said, can we make it bigger? Okay, and they thought more, and then, because how I sparked the invention circle here, I just put these blocks wider. I put the blocks wider. Oops. And they, of course, they tried this one, and it didn't fit because it was too small now. And then they remembered about the cardboard sheet and put it on, and put it like that it fell down, of course, because they cannot just think of the way how to hold it properly. And then, after some trial and error, it was set, and even, you see, the ones they already cut out, the mug, the tissue box, everything, which they already know what they are, they put on the table for people. And then we did the classical STEM experiment. We saw how many blocks would this table hold in it. So, and it is math. When you put something on and you count and you see how many you should have for this one to see how solid, how good it is. And so they did it. And gamification stage is ownership and possession here. Okay, ownership and possession means that if you have something, some property, or if you have something, you want to make it better. You want to have it for a longer period and so on. So they wanted to make it bigger, better, and they did it. And extend challenges. These were challenges and inquiries that extend students' curiosity. So they were curious to see how can they make it bigger. And it is this. Then we go on. Developing products, the stage of developing products, critique and revision. Then that is what you saw in the table when I said that I didn't say, I'll show you again. Here, let's see. Our products a little bit different from this table because we cannot have them all different. At this stage, when one child does make some kind of something and the other does it better, they can be very envious and something not good can happen. So at this stage, we keep the projects the same. Our outcome is the same. So but you can see we have some difference. The legs, a different color, you see? The legs of the table. They're of different color. So they chose, and then they made the table, and Again, here goes gamification principle of social influence and relatedness, because they didn't want to have something worse. They wanted to have all the same. Because of that, it worked well. Now you see public audience and final product, how it worked. We have a house for Pip, and they put it in his kitchen. That was the kitchen part of the project. And then after that, they presented their project to their audience. Their audience, we don't have the engineers from NASA coming to us, so we have our moms and dads. And they come, and then the children proudly show them their creations. So that was the outcome part, and it went like this. Look, this. So they have a speech, and they say, look, this is a table. This is Pip's table. And they can go like Pip, and they talk their voice with the voice of Pip, and they say, this is my table, and I like my table. I can put lots of things on my table. And then you see there are those ones they already did. And here is the STEM stage of evaluating. They see the result, they're happy with it. And now we go to gamification principle of development and accomplishment. You can see that we have kind of achievement maps. All our process is divided into locations, because we have, you can see 4 locations here. Pip was not kind of born, just appeared in a bedroom. So the first location, you cannot see it properly, it's the first one. He was in a bedroom, then he moved on to the kitchen, then to the bathroom, and to a playground and a farm. You can see them. And through those locations, he learned some skills. And the children too. They learned, you can see this one better, they learned about the butterflies, they learned about insects, they learned a song, they learned a poem, they learned how to make a seesaw, and of course physical rules about going up and down on a seesaw. They made lots of things connected to them. Then they, you can see that, they knew about how to use the scales and about the measurement weights and so on. And so you can see that. And they even dug a dinosaur, and not only one dinosaur at this stage. And they saw their progress, because when they learned something, they could put a tick on it. And they were proud to see their route, because you can see that there is a route, and they follow this route. And they have individual checklists. I have them on me. You can see if you're interested. So they have an individual list, and they put ticks when they did something, when they learned something. Okay, let's go on that. These are individual checklists. And when we ended one location, we had a party. And they all knew that if they did something and made everything and learned their poems and sang the songs which were supposed for this location, they knew that they have celebration. So you can see this is a celebration. They all looked up for these days. And this is the contact information if you're interested in anything. Thank you very much. It was, thank you. It was a very big chunk of information, and I try to make it simpler, but I don't know if it was simple. And thank you very much.